How do you shine on a gloomy day like this? It's using charisma. Well, my t-shirt does help, doesn't it? How to be the most charismatic person in the room. How to be the most charismatic person in your area, in your neighborhood, on a planet. Let's get it. Upward Spiral gang.
Yeah. I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Hey there guys, what's happening? My name is Sumit Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today we're talking all about charisma, how to be charismatic. So one of the main things that you've got to really adopt once you're establishing like your charismatic presence is you've got to take off, the filters that you have in your mind, okay? There's certain filters that are repeating in your mind over and over again. Like, is this okay to say? Is this not okay to say? Or you have some kind of a predetermined type of logic, right, in your mind. In your mind, you probably have this idea that, okay, there's things that will make me seem more interesting and there's things that won't make me as interesting, right? However, charismatic people don't have that in their minds. They believe that everything that they say will be interesting because it's not so much what you are saying, but how you say it, how you deliver that information. Got it? And so when you can access that innermost part of you, right? That part of you that is the most authentic version, that doesn't have any filtering or conditioning of the natural world, right? In Taoism, you'd call it like being the uncarved block. Okay, being the uncarved block, being the one without any kind of conditioning or emotional baggage on top of you, or your insecurities like filtering themselves in your own mind. So obviously there's a difference between performance and exercise, right? Performance is actually doing the thing. Exercise is like, maybe jumping on tires and stuff like that. You're not actually going to be jumping on tires in the actual, football match in a sense. So you got to understand that once you're in it, you're in it, okay? It's about that state transference of flow state. So generally, you just make other people feel good. Don't try to micromanage, don't try to edit, don't try to, circumnavigate. Just be. It's that presence. And it's something I call the golden gaze. Golden gaze is like this eye contact that's unconditional love. It's present, it's loving. It's also slightly stern. It's slightly solid. Okay, you see this with examples like, Jason Capital does this a lot.
What's going on? It's Jason Capital.
Another thing you'll notice is there are many styles of charisma, right? You look at someone like Don Draper, he has a very unreactive type of stoic style of delivery, and he will never be perturbed by anything, right? He won't be like, oh my goodness, you caught me. Oh no, right? You never see him do that. There is this vibe that he carries, right?
Rye okay with you?
You look like you know what you're doing. I'm Connie, by the way.
I wish I knew more. I bet a lot of people do.
Pete, get out.
You should think about how Burt Cooper will react when he hears this information.
What information?
Similarly, you look at the opposite end of the spectrum and you see someone like Jason Capital who has a lot of energy and enthusiasm, but he has, he holds great eye contact, and he does this thing where he'll interrupt the pattern. And he's also very good at that state transference, that flow state transference thing that I was talking about. So giving the positive energy towards others.
Give our partners some love. 1, 2, 3.
Okay? Like really giving that positive energy out to other people. They'll appreciate you for it. Trust me on that. Do you know what the etymology of the word charisma means? The etymology of the word charisma means a gift from grace, okay? It means that you were spiritually guided towards prophesizing and speaking in tongues and you've been chosen by God, right? That's what it means. Like, it's a gift of grace, gift from the divine. So understand that charisma is actually a very spiritual thing, right? It is our own energy maintenance within our own bodies. A lot of men, they can't handle too much energy. So they get burnt out, they get frustrated, they get very much into the mind. But we as a culture, we have an addiction to overthinking. To really get embodied again, grounding is really helpful for this as well. I mean, authenticity right now isn't so much in demand that people are trying to manufacture it, right? Like trying to make themselves more natural, more authentic in ways where they're trying to facilitate it. You know what I mean? And so you understand how valuable it is, because think to all the people that you know, right? Are all the people that you know super authentic? So one of the truest gifts of charisma is that it brings out the underlying dormant nature of that pure expression that you have within you. Once you remove all the filters and all the mental blockages in the way, then you start truly being charismatic, because you're just freely expressing yourself, you're flowing, and you don't feel the sense of self-judgment or self-critique or self-doubt, right? So I think a removal of those things already brings up like a volcano all of your dormant hidden treasures and powers within you. This is why cultivating your chi or presence, like in qigong, they'll do certain practices of moving the energy around the body. Like men who are so aroused, they just feel like they need to deplete that energy out, right? So the thing is, you gotta know what to do with this sexual energy, like, and put it out there, sublimate it out into the physical, or communicate with it. Okay, not that it's creepy, but you understand that you playfully misinterpret things, right? It's like, have you ever seen like Craig Ferguson talk in like interviews, right? You need a very specific nuance and tact to be able to pull this off, right? But he has exactly the kind of vibe where he makes his guests feel comfortable being playful, being sexual, being, funny, being goofy, using innuendos, these kinds of things. And I think that defines also a different style of charisma if you look at it.
I had a lot of fun on the back of a horse.
What are we talking about? Take your time. Take your time.
Okay,
Don't just rush in there blowing and sucking and chewing. Take your time.
What are you really saying with your charisma? That I have range. I have vocal range. I can speak in a pitch that's really high or really low if I want to. I have range. I have versatility. So really what you're demonstrating with your charisma is that you have range, that you are a walking embodiment of versatility. I think one of the best ways to really describe charisma is not too serious and not too playful. If you're too playful, you end up being the dancing monkey. You're just goofy, right? Look at this goofball. But then let's say you're too serious, you're too rigid, right? You're too just stuck up, people would say. Oh man, yeah, that guy's just stuck up. Yeah, he's stubborn, Yeah, he's too serious. We can't have any fun with him, right? You don't want to be that. So you want to avoid those two extremes, and you want to play in this midpoint, this middle path, which will bring you the truest version of your charisma alive. I believe another aspect of charisma is assertiveness. I don't think a lot of people have good assertiveness training, whether in this generation or not. I just don't think it's done well, or people, they go to school, but they're never taught assertiveness, like how to assert yourself, to be dominant without being controlling, how to be confident without being so aggressive. It's like, it's that art form, man. And it's that midpoint, right? It's that flow state art form. So this is why being the most charismatic you is you in your flow state. It's as simple as that. Like this is the reason why I make these videos. You can watch any video and learn about charisma from my videos, because that is really the art form of you tapping in. You're losing yourself, you're losing your sense of time, you're just completely captivated by the present moment and whatever is coming up, that you let this flux of energy from within you, which is your sexual energy, your libido, your life force energy, and you're allowing yourself to express it in a healthy manner. Charisma expressed in an unhealthy manner is going to be off-putting, it's going to be creepy, it's going to be weird, it's going to be intimidating. It's not going to be friendly, it's not going to be connective, right? It's going to be repelling. That's when you know when your charisma is not on its right ratio. If you have charisma, you don't really want to overcomplicate things either. You simply have this sense of direct line of communication.
Dine with us. Maybe another time.
Well, that never happens.
You get straight to the point, but you do it in such a way where you hold your own standard. Okay, you hold your own vibe. You hold yourself accountable. You hold yourself to, let's just say, a higher respect. No one can really knock you off of your sail, right? Because when you're in the flow state, you're so tapped in. This is the thing. It is your responsibility, your own state of mind, right? It's not somebody else's. Don't depend on your state based on these videos or someone else, right? You gotta find that deep within you, pull it out. That positivity, that enthusiasm is dormant within you. You just don't feel safe, whether in your environment or other people. You feel like, oh, everyone's out to get me. There's all these limiting beliefs and stuff, right? Blocking that natural expression, which just comes out. That is charisma, right? The purest expression. Be yourself is useless advice because, I mean, what if yourself isn't getting you the results that you want, right? So it's like refining being the best version of you, being yourself to the full stop, to the T, being yourself to the highest rendition of your avatar. And that's when the charismatic attributes come in. It's like almost like the golden shadow aspect that I keep talking about, right? It's that hidden dormant thing that is so within you. And sometimes you just need ease. You see how I changed my voice right now? I changed my vocal pattern, right? Just so you'll notice that there's a difference between speaking very high up here and speaking very low down here in this register. You don't want to just speak in one tonality. When you're stuck in one tonality, you're going to be very boring. Okay? This is why I will mix it up. Okay? I'll speak in different accents if I have to. Because once you have that acting training, it's the form of acting, not acting, as Bruce Lee says as well, right? Because you're not really trying to be charismatic. You just are. The only thing that's coming into my mind for trying is that you put effort into removing all the blocks that are blocking your charisma in the first place so that your natural, authentic self can flourish and pop out. And the question that I like to ask myself, in these moments is, in any situation, what would the most loving and wisest version of me do? Okay? What would the most loving and wisest version of me do right now? And you will notice that hijacks your charisma ability, right? What would the most loving and wisest version of me do in this situation? And you can even ask yourself, what would the most charismatic me do? But I've noticed it's a combination of wisdom as well as that deep reservoir of love, right? So it's not only wisdom, it's the love with the wisdom that creates that mechanism forward, okay? So anyway, it's starting to rain, so I'm gonna go back indoors, but I hope you enjoy this video, man. Mark, you asked me again. Thanks for being so inquisitive, bro. There's a lot of other videos that I have on charisma, so if you want to check those out as well, I'll be creating a lot more content that is purely refined towards flow state, So thank you for watching, guys. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you. Stay legendary. May the flow be with you. Let's get it.